business. I've used this for relationships. I've used this for my family. Okay. I had a problem with my family where, my family said I wasn't spending enough time with them and I had forgot about them. Okay. What's the diagnosis to that, Nano? The diagnosis to that is that I was spending too much time on calls, trainings. I would be sitting at dinner and worried about business. I would be at events, and everything was always about the business, the business, the business. And I kind of disregarded my family. So guess what I did? I got down to the root cause of it. I was just so in love and so passionate and just so invested in my business that I forgot about my family. Okay. And, they called me out on it. I designed the plan. And what was the plan? The plan was, you know what, Nano, when you're at dinner, phones down. Don't even bring your phone to the dinner table. When it's work is work, when it's play is play. Okay, so I started to design a plan around that. I started to make it a priority to spend Sundays with my family, go to church on Sundays with my mom. Okay, when I'm sitting at dinner, bring no phones. Okay, I instead of planning calls around my family time, I started to have blocks throughout the day. Okay, this time is for my family. These days are for my family. These weekends are for my family. And I started to do those things. And guess what? We got through the problem. My mom appreciated it, my dad appreciated it, and now it all started to work on our favor. So think about that. I've used the 5-step process for everything: family, business, relationships. I even used the 5-step process with my relationship with God. Okay. And I say this with respect to whatever it is that you believe out there. Okay. One of my problems was that I didn't have a close relationship with my creator. Okay. And when I got down to the root cause as to why I didn't have a good relationship with my creator was because I wasn't praying enough. I wasn't going to church enough. I wasn't reading the word. I wasn't following the principles to live by, all these different things, right? I got down to the root cause as to why. And then what did I do? I designed a plan around it. And my plan involved Bible study. It involved going to church on Sundays, tithing. It involved me, living by his principles, all these other things. Bam, 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 bam. Executed. Now, guess what? My relationship with God is stronger. So realize how all the problems that happened in my life, I just used the 5-step process. Even when it comes to finances, guys, again, another example. One of my problems was that I would make, let's say I was making $5,000 a month. I was spending $5,200. I sucked at budgeting, right? I had no, I wasn't making any money in reality, because if you're making 5,000 a month and you're spending 5,200, then you're really broke, So it's like, I went through a phase in my life where I was going through that. So I realized that I had a problem with budgeting. Okay. Now, again, that's step two. Identify the problem. Number three is, why is this problem happening? Well, I'm spending so much money on subscriptions. I'm spending so much money on eating out. I'm not being careful with my money. I don't know where my money is going. I'm just spending, 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 spending. And there's no regard for finances. So what did I do? Once I got down to the root cause as to why that happened, what did I do? Then I designed the plan. My plan involved getting rid of subscriptions that I no longer needed. Instead of eating out and spending, hundreds of dollars every single week, I said, yo, let me just buy groceries. Let me do a meal prep. Okay. I saved a ton of money there. Okay. I started to do monthly audits on my account, where I would literally print out my monthly statement and I would look where my money was going. There's actually apps for this now, but I used to like to do it where I saw it for myself, because it's a different level when you actually print out your monthly statement for the month and you sit down and you start to, kind of categorize where your money's going. Okay. This money's going towards eating out. This money's going towards Ubers. This money's going towards bills. This money's going here. And now you start to see where your money actually goes when you categorize it. And when you start to realize where your money is going and how much money you're spending on some things like coffee and like little things that you may not think anything of, it makes a massive difference. One thing about me, I used to drink Starbucks every day. Guys, my coffee would cost me $8 plus the delivery fee. I was spending, think about it, close to like $15 a day for a daily coffee. Obviously getting Uber Eats. Now, guys, you think about that. Let's say I'm spending $15 a day, 7 days a week. Let's say I'm drinking my coffee every day. 15 times 30. That's $450 a month that is going towards my coffee. Okay. And just, it's over 400. Okay, think about that. Now, just cutting that in half saves me $200. All right. What if I just don't drink coffee at all, no Starbucks, and I just buy coffee and make it myself at home? That'll save me an extra $400 a month. You know what I'm saying? I stop eating out, this and that. That saved me hundreds of dollars a month. You get rid of all these subscriptions, you find ways for this. Next thing you know, you're saving thousands of dollars a month now. Instead of now making 5,000 and spending 5,000, now I'm making 5,000. I'm only spending 2 to 3,000 and I'm saving an extra couple $1,000s a month. That makes a massive difference, guys. And that's why I always tell people you're going to deal with problems in life, but you need to have a process that not only you can use to get yourself through your obstacles and your challenges, but that you can teach. Because remember, in life, it's not about what you can do, it's about what you can teach. And what you can teach is what leads to the duplication that you're looking for in your life and in your business. And duplication leads to momentum. Every time you go through something, 5-step process. Any problem in your life, like I said, it could be family, it could be business, it could be relationship, it could be God, it could be anything. Any kind of problem that you face in life, you can use the 5-step process to overcome it. Trust me, it has been the most rewarding process that I've been able to overcome with, because it's like, think about it. Now that I go through a problem, I'm like, okay, cool, 5-step process. I'm dealing with something in my finances, 5-step process. Business, 5-step process. It just everything just I just feel so confident, because think about it, I already have the strategy. It's like having the tools to fix any problem in your life. And this training right here, guys, is probably shorter than the other ones, but I'm telling you, it's probably one of the most valuable lessons that you guys will all learn, because it's something that you take with you forever. Guys, I learned about the 5-step process in 2018. I'm recording this podcast in 2024. This 5-step process has allowed me to overcome all my challenges and all my obstacles in the last 6 years. And it's going to allow me to do the exact same thing for the next 10, 15, 20, for the rest of my life. Ray Dalio is in his 60s, still using this. Billionaire hedge fund owner. Okay, I learned it from him. You guys can learn it as well. So that's the 5-step process. One more time from the top. Number one, you set a goal. Number two, you identify the problem. Number three, you diagnose the problem, why it happened. Number four, you design a plan. And number five, you execute. Okay. And let's say for whatever reason you execute and the plan doesn't work, then just go back to the diagnosis and the plan. Find a different plan. Okay, that plan didn't work. Okay, let's try this one. Boom, and then execute again, and do it until you figure it out. Because remember, there is always more than one way up the mountain. If one way doesn't work, then go up the next way. If that way doesn't work, then go up the next way until you find the one that works. All right, guys. So with that being said, enjoy. I hope you guys all right, guys. Let's get today's call started. I am super excited for this call. Let's go. There we are. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, welcome, guys, to Mornings with Nano, YouTube edition, IG live edition. I'm very blessed and very grateful to be on this call with all of you guys. As you guys know, we do these calls every Tuesdays and Thursdays. But this is also the day of my training day as well. So right now I'm currently at the gym. So I do apologize a little bit about the late start, but I had to get everything organized in here. The Wi-Fi is not the best sometimes, so I got to get it connected. But we got connected, we got it working, we got everything running. Reno, what's goody, my boy? How you doing, Zion? But we're feeling good, man, and we're feeling blessed. And I wanted to take some time for sure before my training session to make sure that we poured into each other. I think that these trainings are so important for all of us, because anytime we get a chance to pour into ourselves and listen to positive messages, I think it's an amazing thing. And we're all taking advantage of the amazing month that's ahead of us. Real quick, it is March Madness. It is March for Momentum. So can I get an MM in the chat box if you are excited about a month that's going to be filled with momentum, that's going to be filled with abundance, that's going to be filled with production, that's going to be filled with so much that we've been searching for? You see, guys, We're coming up on the last quarter, sorry, the last month of the first quarter of the year. Okay, and as you guys know, there's 4 quarters in 1 year. There's 4 quarters, and just in case you didn't know, let me give you guys the 4 quarters details, right? So the first quarter starts January 1st all the way till March 31st. That's the first quarter of the year. From January 1st to March 31st is the first quarter of the year. The second quarter of the year is from April 1st to June 30th. So from April 1st to June 30th is the second quarter of the year. The third quarter of the year is from July 1st to September 30th. So from July 1st to September 30th is the third quarter. And then the last quarter of the year, the fourth quarter, is from October 1st to December 31st. All right. So right now, all we can focus on is the first quarter of the year. The first quarter of the year is from January 1st to March 31st. We got literally, 27 days left. If we want to include today, call it 27, 28 days left of this amazing first quarter. Now, one thing I've been telling everybody is that this is only the beginning. As we all know, the foundation to our year is built in the first 90 days. And this was an amazing conversation that I was having with, my private group yesterday. I was telling them like, hey, we have to make sure that we leverage this first quarter of the year to the best of our ability. Because something I asked them yesterday, and I'm going to ask you guys here today, is what happens if you try to build something on a weak foundation? Let me know in the chat box. What happens if we try to build anything on a weak foundation? Let me know in the chat. What happens to anything that's built on weak foundation? I want to see some of your answers because I asked the same question yesterday, and I want to see what your responses are. Okay, you fail, it crumbles, tissue, it breaks, it caves in. There you go. It crumbles, it falls, it goes backwards, it fails, it falls, it won't last. It can eventually crumble. All of it. You can't build on sand. Exactly. It collapses, not sturdy enough. You guys know all the amazing answers. Right now, stay with me here. The first quarter of the year is your foundation to the year. So the first quarter of the year is your foundation. So if your foundation is weak at the beginning of the year, then guess what's going to happen to you throughout the year? You're going to fall. You're going to crumble. You're going to go backwards. You're going to collapse. Those things are going to happen to you because guess what you did? You didn't make sure that your foundation was built strong. You didn't make sure. So these first 90 days of the year, you have to make it a priority to make sure that your foundation is strong. It has to be. Because like I've been telling you guys over the last couple of months, you can only build as high up as your foundation. It goes deep. This is so important. And I wanted to give you guys a little quick reminder of that on today's call because I want everybody to know that, hey, whatever happened in January, whatever happened in February, it's behind us. The only thing we can focus on is what we do for the next 27, 28 days of March. You have a chance because remember, it's not about how you start the quarter. It's about how you finish the quarter. So let's make sure that we finish the quarter strong. Let's make sure that we finish the quarter with intention, with purpose, with productivity, so that way that can set us up for the rest of the year. None of us here on this call can afford a bad first quarter. At the beginning of the year, when I was asking all of you, hey, who wants to have the best year of their lives? Who knows that this is going to be the year where we have breakthroughs and we accomplish all the amazing things? Every single one of us would raise our hand. We would type in the chat box. We would say, me, nano, me. This is my year. Well, if you want to make that a reality, it's going to take more than just saying it. It's going to take setting your foundation straight. So if you've been slacking off this year already, it's time to lock in. If you haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's time to do what you're supposed to be doing. If you've been putting things to the side, it's time to put those things in front because these next couple of weeks,
till the year finishes, not till the year finishes, but till the quarter finishes, are vital to the rest of the year for you. Because like I said, how you start the year will determine the direction of your year and how high up you build. Now, that's why I named this training This Is Only the Beginning. But the reason I named this training This Is Only the Beginning is because I also wanted to give you guys some perspective. This is only the beginning to what it is that we're building. We're building something powerful here. And I wanted to relate this story, and I wanted to relate this training today to the story of Noah and the ark. If you've ever read or heard of the story of Noah and the ark, I want to tell it very briefly. I'm not an expert in the Bible, so excuse me, and I don't tell the story exactly how it goes. But there's a story in the Bible with Noah where you know, God gave Noah a vision. Okay, the world was in a very bad place. This is so important. The world was in a very bad place. People didn't believe, people were lost in life. It was in a terrible, terrible place. So God was going to flood the earth. But he gave a vision to Noah and he told him, Noah, I need you to build this ark. I need you to gather the animals. I need you to gather your family. And I need you to gather as many people as you can to come on the ark with you. So Noah starts building this ark. And an ark is a big boat. It's a big, big boat. Think of a big, big boat. And Noah starts building this ark. He starts building this boat day after day. And, people start asking him, like, yo, Noah, what are you doing? He said, I'm building an ark. There's a flood coming. And people are laughing at him. People don't believe him. People think it's a lie. People think that he's absolutely lost his mind. But guess what? Noah stays true to his vision that God gave him. And long story short, eventually, what ends up happening is God floods the earth. And what happens is only Noah, his family, and the animals survive. Everybody else passes away. They're all gone. Nobody listened. Nobody paid attention. And a lot of Noah's story has a lot of relevance to today's world and in business. You see, the number one thing that God gives all of us, and I want to start with this right here, is he gives us vision and preparation. You see, Noah received the clear sign and instruction from God to build the ark in preparation for the in preparation for the floods. Despite everybody that doubted him, despite all the ridicule from all the others, he remained focused and committed to his vision. What does that have to do with all of you right now? You guys got to stay clear on your vision and instruction from God. We all got instruction from God this year. And look, you guys may be wondering, well, Neno, what was my instruction? You know what? The only instruction you should be focused on is becoming the best version of you. That's your instruction. Because the only way that you can fully express yourself and your God-like abilities is by becoming the better version of yourself. So yeah, God maybe didn't tell you to build an ark and build a boat because guess what? There's a flood coming. But in reality, if you think about it and you change the way you look at things, God did tell you to do that. You see, the ark is you in the story. If you were to change the way you look at it, you got to change you. This is only the beginning. You got to change yourself. You are the ark. You are the big boat that is preparing you to save yourself from all the floods, all the challenges, all the obstacles, all the things that are about to happen in this world. You got to change the way that you look at things so that the things you look at change. You see, the story is very, very relevant to today. The ark represents the building of ourselves on a day-to-day basis. You know what the floods represent? The floods represent the challenges, the obstacles, the ridicule, all the things that's going to happen around us on a day-to-day basis. That represents the floods. So what we're doing right now is we're building the ark. We're building ourselves. That should be your vision for 2025. Building yourself to become a better version of you. Why you think I'm in the gym right now? Why you think I'm paying for a trainer right now? Because I am building myself physically here in the gym. but I'm also building myself mentally and emotionally and spiritually in the mornings when I'm doing my morning routine. I'm building myself in all areas of my life. I'm not slipping up in these areas. I'm building myself financially. I'm building my business. I'm building myself personally. I'm building my relationship with God. I'm building my art. I understand how important this year is for me. I understand how important this year is for you. So that's why I do these calls to give you guys reminder. Because if you go back to the story, the most important part of the story is the vision and the preparation. Because Noah received that clear vision and instruction from God to build the ark in preparation for the floods. All of us on this call right now, we got over 100 people on this call. Guess what? We've also all received a clear vision and instruction from God to build ourselves in preparation for the world. We live in a fallen world. I don't know if you guys have recognized that yet, but we live in a fallen world where everything around us, for some, it looks amazing. For others, it doesn't look too good. And if you are not prepared for what the world has coming for us, then you're going to die in the flood. And I don't mean literally, I just mean, if you understand, that's the reality of the situation. We have to make sure that we are aware, because having a clear vision for your goals, having a clear vision and preparing diligently can lead to success even in the most challenging times. I want all of you to be prepared when the times come. I want all of you to be equipped when the time comes, because one of my favorite statements, if you want to call it, or quotes, is called the 5 P's. The 5 P's. Nano, what are the 5 P's? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the 5 P's right there. What we're doing in the first quarter of the year is preparing. That's what we're doing right now. We're preparing. Because how does the saying go? If you fail to prepare, then what happens? Finish it for me in the chat as I take a sip of this energy drink, because I needed it today, to be honest. If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Either or. Both work. Both. So think about it. Guys, remember, it's not just a quote. It's not just a fancy quote that sounds good. If you fail to prepare in the first quarter of the year, then you're preparing to fail for the rest of the year. If you don't properly prepare yourself in the first quarter of the year, then you won't be able to prevent poor performance for the rest of the year. I'm giving you guys the heads up. If you don't build yourself, if you don't build the ark, then when the flood comes, you, your family, and everything is going to drown. And I don't mean literal. I mean spiritually. You're not going to be ready mentally for what's to come. You're not going to be ready for the challenges. You're not going to be ready because you didn't prepare. And you're selfish if you think that this is about you. This is about the people around you that are counting on you. Because Noah, if he would have ignored the vision that God gave him, not only would he have drowned, guess who would have drowned too? His family, his kids, his wife, and all the animals as well. So it's not about you. You have a bigger calling in your life than just yourself. Don't let this year be the year where you allow yourself to fall back into old ways. So that was the number one thing. The rest of the generations, exactly. So the number one thing that I learned from Noah's story was the vision and the preparation. But here's number two. It's having leadership in times of uncertainty. Having leadership in times of uncertainties. You see, in the story, Noah led his family and the animals into the ark, right? He was guiding them through times that most people couldn't understand. So you got to remember, you have to be the leader for your team, for your family, for your kids, and for everybody around you. Because even though things may not seem the way that you want them to, you got to keep leading. You got to have faith. You got to have perseverance. And you got to navigate through the uncertainty. I know some of us right now are not certain on where we're going. I know some of us sometimes lose faith in the journey. But something you could always do is borrow somebody's faith. I said this to one of my leaders yesterday. I'm like, yo, if you lose faith in yourself, use the faith that I have in you. Borrow my faith because I have faith in you, bro. I believe in you, bro. I know you're going to be successful. I know you're going to win big in life. So sometimes what you got to do is borrow somebody else's faith because you lose faith in yourself. Because you got to have leadership during this uncertainty times. Strong leadership is crucial. And believe it or not, every single one of us on this call, we're all leaders. Whether we're leaders in business, whether we're leaders in our family, whether we're leaders in our relationships, whether we're leaders at our jobs, whether we're leaders in all different areas. Every single one of us, we are leaders, whether you believe it or not. Some of you guys may be like, well, nah, Nano, I'm not a leader. No, you are. Just because you're not a leader in business doesn't mean you're not a leader in your home. Maybe you're not a leader at home, but you're a leader at your job. Maybe you're not a leader at your job, but guess what? You're a big brother. You're a big sister. If you're not a big brother, you're a big sister, then guess what? You're a mom, you're a dad. You are a leader in one shape or way or another. Because guess what? You know who the biggest leader you are? You're a leader to yourself. You are your own leader. So everyone on this call, whether you want to say it or not, or whether you want to admit it or not, you are a leader. Because the first person that you are a leader to is yourself. That's what my mentor used to always tell me. He said, Nano, before you can lead others, you got to learn how to lead yourself. He said, Nano, how could you lead others if you don't know how to lead yourself? And I'm like, sheesh. But I've always been a leader my whole life. My whole life I've been a leader because I've been a big brother my whole life. Anybody, do we have any big brothers, big sisters on the call? Put a 2 if you're a big brother, big sister, you got any siblings, right? Any big brothers, big sisters on the call real quick? Let me see if we have anybody that I could relate with. There you go, Zion. You're a leader naturally, by heart. Anaya, you're a leader. Emmy, you're a leader. Layla, you're a leader. Alessandro, Kendall, Wally, Danielle, Trey, Altagracia, Eunice, Luz. We got Teresa, we got Denise, we got Lynn, we got Kingdom Entrepreneur, Michael, Hector, Shmoney, Berta, Holly, Jeech. We're all leaders. We've been leaders our whole lives. Now put a 3 in the chat if you're a parent, real quick. Let me see for my parents as well. Any parents in the chat? We got any parents in the chat? If you're a parent, you're a leader. If you're a mom, you're a dad, you're a leader. Look at all my moms and dads in the chat. I see a certain leaders that wear multiple hats. I see leaders that are brothers and sisters and are moms and dads, are leaders in businesses, look how many of you guys. I got people that wear multiple hats. My men, we're leaders in relationships. We're leaders of the household. We're leaders in business. So we got to remember, here's the thing. Point number 2 of the story that has to align with us. Look, Isa, I'm a parent and a big sister here. She wears multiple hats. She's a big sister. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a leader in the business. She wears like 4 or 5 different hats, all in leadership. Think about how awesome that is to be able to wear different hats, and all of them require leadership. Mom, wife, sister, leader in business, this, wife. You think about it, there's people on this call that are wearing 4 or 5 different hats of leadership. Shout out to you guys. But here's the beauty of this. Here's it is. And it goes back to the story because I'm going to relate everything that I'm talking about, back to the story of Noah. In the story of Noah, he was leading in times of uncertainty. So what does that mean for us? We have to lead in times of uncertainty. We have to have strong leadership. We have to lead through the storms. We have to guide our families, our people, our friends, our families in times of economic downturns and market changes and unexpected challenges. And you know what we got to lead with? We got to lead with confidence and resilience. We got to lead with faith. We got to know that everything is going to work out for us. Even when we feel like it's not going to work out for us, even when we don't know if it's going to work out for us, we have to lead with certainty. Because remember, God gave us the vision. And God wouldn't give any of us the vision if he didn't believe that we could do it. You think God would give us a vision to fail? All of us on this call, all 100 and almost 40, almost 50 people on this call, almost 150 on the call live right now. God will not give us a vision if he believed that we were going to fail. He only gives us a vision he knows we can accomplish. So you got to trust it, guys. You got to stop living in so much fear and so much doubt and so much insecurity. Everything that you're going through is working out for you. Everything is happening for you. It's not happening to you. It's all preparation. All you're doing right now is preparing yourself. It's all preparation. Even though it sucks. Preparation is hard, man. It sucks. It's not easy to prepare. You got to go with it. But then later, you know what you're going to be? You're going to be, whoo, thank God I prepared, man. Because let me tell you, if I would have not prepared, you're going to be looking around at the people who didn't prepare. And you're going to be like, bro, thank God that I prepared. Because look, this person didn't prepare. That person didn't prepare. This person didn't listen. This person laughed at me. This person said this. But look, here I am. I'm prepared. My family's taken care of. I have peace of mind. You know why? Because I prepared. I stayed strong during the storms. I trusted in God. I led in times of uncertainty. You don't want to be the person that has to look at your brother, your sister, your kids and tell them, hey, look, I failed you. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine that as I'm not even a parent, and I can't even imagine that as a parent having to tell your kids, like if your kids wonder like, hey, why don't we live like that? You know, I didn't work hard enough back in the days. I quit. I let my challenges get the best of me. I didn't follow God's plan for me. So you got to keep that in mind, guys. Number 2, when it comes to the story, is leadership and uncertainty. Number 3, here it is. You got to learn how to adapt and innovate. You got to learn how to adapt and innovate. What do I mean by that? Well, think back to the story. Noah was building the ark. Now, building the ark is a monumental task that requires innovation. It requires paying attention to specific guidelines. You're building a boat, a huge boat that has to fit families, food, and animals on it. So you got to learn how to adapt and innovate with yourself. You got to learn how to survive. And you know what that's going to require? Paying attention to specific guidelines with yourself. Remember, we're building ourselves here. The ark represents us. We are building us right now, which means similar to what I'm doing, I'm building myself in all areas. I'm like, okay, Neno, we need to build ourselves spiritually with God. We got to build that relationship. We got to wake up. We got to read the word. Every day, you got to fill yourself up with the word of the Lord. So every day, as for example, right now, I started reading the book of Matthew in the Bible. I like, March Madness, why not read? I was looking for a story to read. I'm like, why not read Matthew? Matthew starts with an M. You know what? We're going to read Matthew. And I've been reading it. It feels great. And you know what's amazing about the story is that everything that I'm reading, it always relates with me in some kind of way, shape, or form. So I'm building my relationship with God because I know how important that is. I know how important it is. I was at church this Sunday, and at church, my pastor said that the Bible verses are actually our weapons in the spiritual world. Remember, guys, this is not a physical battle. This is a spiritual battle. It's not a physical one. It's a spiritual one. And the word is your weapons. It's your tool. It's your gun at war. So if you guys are not tapped in with the Lord, you have no battle. It's like showing up to a war of guns with a knife. How are you going to win a war, a spiritual war with no weapons? It'll never happen. So every day I take the time to feed myself the word so I can have God flowing through me at all times. And you know what the beauty of it is? That there's times throughout the day that I have doubts, I have fears, or I have any insecurities. And you know what ends up happening? The word that I read in the morning pops in my mind. The word pops in my mind. And you know what ends up happening? I use that word, that Bible verse, that idea, that energy that I have from that morning read to battle off the negative, to battle off the enemy, because I feel the enemy in my energy field. I'm like, wait, that's not godly. I'm not supposed to be doubting myself. I'm not supposed to have fear. So I think back to what I was reading in the morning, and I'm like, yo, but in the Bible, it says this. God said this morning. This is going to be my way of battling this. And you know what ends up happening? Something that would have usually destroyed me or something that would have usually put me down, now I'm able to fight it away. Now I'm able to destroy it. And instead of it lasting a day, a week within me, it doesn't even last a moment because God's words are always in me. So I'm building relationships. I'm building myself up spiritually. I'm building myself up mentally. I'm building myself up physically. I'm building myself up financially. I'm building myself up in all areas of my life, guys. I am the ark, but it takes strategic planning to build yourself up in all these areas. You can't just wake up and be like, all right, well, today's Tuesday, March 4th. Let me see what I'm going to do today. It's not how it works. There needs to be strategic planning. Okay, what time are you waking up? What time are you going to read the word? What time are you going to the gym? You make this amount of money, Nano. How much is going towards taxes? How much is going towards your savings? How much is going towards your bills? How much is going towards investments? You need to be strategic, guys. You can't just be going about life just hoping that everything works out for you. It's never going to change like that. There needs to be strategy. Because here's what my mentor told me. He said, Nano, a goal without strategy is tragedy. I'll never forget that. He said, Nano, a goal without strategy leads to tragedy. You got to be strategic, guys, with yourself. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm being strategic with everything in my life. Nothing is literally left untouched. Because I was somebody, let me be real with y'all real quick. I used to be the one that used to just wake up and just be like, all right, God, what you got for me today? No strategy. I would wake up when I would wake up. I would make money and do whatever I wanted with it. I would show up to the gym whenever I remember to show up. And I was just living life hoping that things would change, but nothing would. So you got to make sure that you're adapting and innovating. Number 4, this one is important. Listen to this. It takes long-term focus and patience. And this is a big one. You know why? Because a lot of us, we don't have long-term focus and patience. Especially in this world nowadays when we have social media and we're easily distracted and, you know, people's attention span is very, very minimal because the way that social media is designed is everything is designed to be short. Couple seconds and then you're on to the next one. Think about it. How many times have you scrolled on social media and you're watching something and it only grabs your attention for a little bit before you got to go on to the next one? It grabs your attention for a little bit and then it goes to the next one. And the only time you really stay on a video is only one that really grabs your attention. But even the ones that grab your attention, you're only watching them for a minute or so, 2 minutes max. So we're already trained. Our minds are already trained to have short-term focus. Our mind is already trained to have no patience, to receive everything right away. Hey, you work 40 hours a week, you get paid weekly or bi-weekly. But if you think about Noah's story in the Bible, the flood waters didn't just happen overnight. He had to develop that ark for years. Let me see. Let me see how long exactly was it. How long did Noah build the ark for? Let me see what they tell us here. The Bible doesn't give an exact number of years it took to build the ark, but it does provide some context. This often interpreted, meaning Noah had 120 years to complete it before. Yo, that's actually wild. So they said that there's no specific, but it is said that 120 years at least. Imagine having to build something for 120 years before the flood came. That's actually crazy when you think about it. Now, obviously, the story with us, it just shows us that it's going to take time for us to change. I mean, I think about me, guys. Look, I think about myself. I'm like, yo, I started building myself at the age, for real. Like, I started entrepreneurship at around 23, but I didn't really start building myself intentionally to like about 24, 25. So in reality, I've been building myself nano. I've been building nano for about 5, 6 years. And look, I still have so much more to go. Am I grateful for what I've accomplished and the things that I've done? Absolutely. But I've only been building myself for about 5, 6 years of hard work and dedication. So think about that. And I'm still not where I want to be at. Am I grateful for where I'm at? Yes. But I'm still not where I planned my life to be at by this time. At 30, I'm 30 years young now. At 30, I saw myself multi-millionaire, married with kids. That was the idea. Yo, by the time that's what I used to tell myself. Yo, by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna be married with kids, and I'm gonna be living in a multi-million-dollar house, driving my Ferrari, and so on and so forth. My parents and everything will be retired. Anybody else had like a vision similar to that? That, yo, when I got to this age, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. Hey, look, it happens to the best of us. I'm not there yet. I thought that by this age and by this amount of time that I've put into this, that I would already be where I want to be at, but I'm not. But you know what's the beautiful thing about it? You know what's the beautiful thing about it? I trust God's plan. It's not my plan. I was supposed to be a millionaire at 18. No, for real. I was supposed to be a professional baseball player at 18, making millions of dollars. But it's not, remember, it's not our plan. Whose plan is it? Right? If it's not our plan, then whose plan is it? Let me know in the chat box. I want to hear it. Whose plan is it? It's God's plan. It's not our plan. Yes, we have plan. Yes, Nino, you had plans to be a baseball player and play professionally. You had plans to be married and this at 30 years old and be a millionaire by 30. But it's not your plan, bro. It's God's plan. It's God's plan. And you know what you got to do with God's plan? You have to trust it. You have to trust it. God said, Nano, you're not ready for $1 million. You're not ready for this business, for a wife. You're not ready for those things yet. Let me develop you. Let me mold you. Let me make sure that I prepare you for those things. You're not ready yet. I don't care that you've had 5 years. Who knows? Maybe it may take you another 3 to 5 years to be ready for that. But you know what I'm doing? I'm letting go of the wheel and I'm letting God take the wheel. That's it. It's not up to me anymore. It's God's plan. And you guys got to have that same vision with yourself. This is a long-term journey. This is not people, remember, guys, it's not going to happen in 1 year. It's not going to happen in 1 year. It may not happen in 2 years. It may not happen in 5 years. It may take you 10 years to change your whole life forever. You never know. And I know that may sound crazy to even say, but is it really crazy to think about that? Guys, 5 years ago was pandemic COVID. How much has your life changed since then? That was 5 years ago. As a matter of fact, 5 years ago, around this time right now, there was announcements being made that they were about to shut down the country. 5 years ago. And that feels like it was just yesterday. It was around this time 5 years ago, 2020 March. And look, it's 2025 March. That was 5 years ago. Think about it. How much has our lives really changed from 5 years ago? We can't control what happened the last 5 years. But you know what? Well, you can't control what happens the next 5. Because what happens if you don't change the next 5? If you don't change the next 5, you know what's going to happen? You're going to stay the same. You're going to stay the same. And 5 years from now, it's going to be exactly the same as it is right now if you don't decide to work on you. If you don't decide to build the ark. You got to build yourself, guys. That's the message that I'm going to preach to you guys to the day that I'm 6 feet under is build you. Nothing changed for me until I started building me. I just invested into a speaking coach. I said, yo, I want to start building my speaking business. I want to be a keynote speaker worldwide, all around the world, but I really want to be a legit one. You know what I had to do? I had to invest into that. I had to put money into myself. This is what it's about right here. This is why I do these calls, to give you guys reminders, to give you guys insight. Yo, some of you guys know me since I started Mornings with Nano. As a matter of fact, real quick, when did you guys start watching Mornings with Nano? Type it in the chat box. I want to see who's been here, how long you guys have been here, because a lot of you guys have seen the change and have seen the growth over the years. I've been doing Mornings with Nano. This year will be 6 years. Look, we got people 2024, 2021, Jayana, 2021. You've been here with me 4 years, sis. Think about that. Anna, 4 years. 3 years over here. Junior, I know Junior's been here with me for a while, 2020. Look at that. T's been here from day one. Look at that. My whole family knows. You look 2021. Damn, on Instagram, everybody been here since 2021. My brother, Ryan, I remember you, Ryan. We go back 2019. Jaffrey, 2019. I know you was there since 2019. 2019 was when it all started. Look at this, 21, on and off. 2020, right around the pandemic, 2020. 30 people in the room. I remember that, Ryan, no cap. I remember you being there too. That's the craziest part. Bianca, since 6 years, 2019. And look at the growth though. When you guys met me, I was doing Mornings with Nano at my mom's house. I was literally doing Mornings with Nano at in my mom's living room. With my mom, who remembers my mom in the background sweeping and mopping the floor with no regard that I was on a call? Anybody remember those days when my mom would just not care that I was on a call and just be cleaning in her bata in the background? Bro, I was broke in those days, guys. You understand? Like, I was making $1,000 a month in those days. I was making less than $15,000 a year in those days. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I was lost in the sauce during those days, man. I didn't have, and you know what's crazy? I used to have more people on my calls back then than I have today. Bro, I don't know if you guys know this, but Mornings with Nano used to average 3,000 to 5,000 people a day on the Zoom days. Like 2,000 people on a call was a bad day on Mornings with Nano. That's the craziest part about it. But there were different times, COVID, and I get it. You know, everybody was home and Zoom, and it was a different time, and everything changed and stuff like that. But I was broke in those days. I didn't have nothing in those days. I just had hunger and a dream. But look, I had the long-term vision. I had the long-term vision from the very beginning. And that's what the story of Noah says. Yo, guys, we have a long-term vision ahead of us. We're still young. You know, success in business and in anything we do requires patience. Yo, you got to be patient with yourself. You know how long it's taken for me to develop this you know, peace and this communication skills, all these things. I used to always tell people, they used to be like, yo, Nano, why do you do Mornings with Nano every day? Because for me, this is practice. People always come up to me, Nano, you've developed such a great speech and you're so good at this. And they're like, how did you do it? I'm like, bro, I practice every day. I've been doing mornings with Nano for 6 years, bro. This is 5 days a week. This is all practice. I just practice every day. For me, this is just me showing up and practicing, sharpening my axe. You do your morning routine every day. Yes, that's practice for me. All of this is all practice for life. I have patience with Nano. I have patience with myself. I understand that. I understood and I've accepted that it's gonna take time for me to change. I know I'm not gonna change overnight. I know for me to develop the spiritual alignment, the mental stability, the physical body that I want to develop. Imagine if you could just go to the gym one day and then you had your dream body. How easy would life be if I could just go to the gym for a week and I have my dream body? But here I am months into the new year and I still don't even have my dream body. You know what? I'm still working hard. And you know what it takes every week I am so sore. I tell my trainer all the time, like, bro, this process sucks, bro. Like every day I'm sore, bro. I could barely sit down. It's just like, damn, bro, it sucks. It's so painful to when you're building that dream body. And you know what it makes me think about? It makes me think about life. Life is painful when you want to change. I want to grow my muscles. It takes pain. It takes struggle. It takes showing up every day. That's why I'm here. Like, you think it's Gabe's like, yo, I've been working out my whole life. I don't have my dream body. There you go. That just goes to show, but he's patient. It takes patience. It takes work. So that's number 4. You got to have long-term focus and patience. And then last but not least, when it comes to the story of Noah with the ark and ourselves, is building a legacy. We're all here. We're all building a legacy. You know what my mentor told me that would never leave my mind? He said, Nano, we die twice in this lifetime. You die, the first time you die is when you're buried physically. He said, and the second time you die is the last time your name is mentioned. Those words have never left my mind. I was like, damn. And then you know what he told me after that? He said, how long after you're gone is your name going to be mentioned? Is it going to just be mentioned for a week, for a month, for a year, or is it going to be mentioned forever? He said, I was like, yo, I want it to be mentioned forever. He said, then you're going to have to make an impact in people where your name is mentioned years and years and years after you're gone. He said, you got to break generational curses on hundreds and thousands of people. And I'm like, sheesh. He was like, commit to what you're doing and stay committed to that. And you'll be able to accomplish that. Why do you think I do mornings with Nano, whether people show up or not? My goal is for your kids to be jumping on mornings with Nano at some point in their life. Like, yo, my dad used to jump on mornings with Nano back when he first started. And look, now I'm on mornings with Nano. So that I helped you break your paradigms. You helped your kids' paradigms. Your kids are going to help your kids. Boom, boom, boom. And then when you always think about it, man, who was one of the people that helped you break your paradigms? Yo, it was that guy Nano, man. He used to do these morning calls. He used to read to us. He used to tell us stories about the Bible. Nano changed it all. Look, you could watch his YouTube videos. You could watch his speeches. He has a book. Here's his journals. 100 years, 200 years after Nano's gone. The same way I look at people like Jim Rohn. Same way I look at people, from all over the world. You think about the thought leaders of our world. I was on my way to the gym. I was listening to Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale is the godfather of personal development, and he was around in the 50s. And here I am listening to him in the 2020s. So 70 years later, he got me still listening to him. I want to leave that kind of impact. Napoleon Hill was here in the 20s, in the 30s, 1920s, 30s. We still read his book today, Think and Grow Rich, 100 years later. That's the kind of impact I'm looking to leave. The impact that 100 years from now, you're able to, looking in those books, looking in those podcasts, looking in those videos, looking in those audios, look at his journals, look at the impact, look at how he changed millions of lives with this strategy and this and that. But you know what that's going to require? Work, 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 work. It's that, like I said, is we're building a legacy. Because look at what happened now. Because Noah's obedience in the story and his leadership, not only did it save his family, but it also laid the foundation for a new beginning for humanity. Consider the legacy you are building through your business and through your life right now. Are you creating something that's going to endure, positively impact on others? For my parents, are you building a foundation? Are you building a life for your kids that they're going to be able to live a better life than you do? Where your ceiling is their floor. You know, the other day, I was talking to my sister, Janelle's Rosa, and I was talking to her because, they just had 2 kids. Shout out to Kai and Sky. And we were just talking, and she said something to me, and she said that to me, and I sat there and I paused for a little bit, and I'm like, yo, isn't it amazing the life that Sky and Kai are gonna live? And she was like, yeah, bro. She was like, she said she was like, yeah, bro, our ceiling is their floor. And for a little bit, I just paused and I'm like, our ceiling is their floor. And I'm like, oh shit, that makes so much sense. Their high in life, like what they've worked for, is now her daughter and her son's floor. Like that's where they get to start. So what they worked their whole lives to do, their ceiling is now their kids' floor. And their ceiling is very nice. Let me tell you that. I'm like, yo, these kids' floor is amazing. Like, I wish I had this floor when I grew up. But then I think about it and it's like, that's the kind of legacy you kind of want to leave. Because if your floor is the same as your kid's floor, then you did it wrong. You didn't build a strong foundation enough for them. We got to be the ones that change the next generation, and it starts with us. We got to work harder. We got to work harder than ever. I remember my father used to always tell me, and I'll never forget this, bro. My father used to always tell me, he said, I failed you as a father if you end up becoming a taxi driver. He said, if I work all these years so hard for you to be better and you end up being a taxi driver, I failed you as a father. And I never used to understand that when I was younger. I used to be like, well, it looks like being a taxi driver is cool. But now that I'm aware, I understand why he used to tell me that, because it's like he worked so hard to give me a better life. He worked so hard for me to live better, for me to have a better career for myself. And now it all makes sense. My dad's been a cab driver for 40, 50 years of his life. So he worked all those years for me to just do the exact same thing as him or to be better. My role is to be better. He made all those sacrifices for me to be better. That's why I work so hard. That's why I sacrifice so much. That's why I do so much, because I can't do everything. I can't let all my father's and mom's sacrifices go to waste. I got to make them proud. That's why I go so hard, guys. I have a different purpose, a different fire, a different hunger inside of me. You got to develop the same thing with yourself. You got to find that hunger, that passion, whether it's your parents, whether it's your kids, whether it's your family, whether it's God, whatever it is. You got to find the hunger and a passion that's going to keep you going, and it's going to force you to want to change your life. I give a lot of credit to my dad, a lot. I have to, because, man, that guy still to this day works hard. Still to this day works hard at 70 years old. And I tell him, yo, dad, chill, like, he's like, bro, this is all I know how to do. He don't even have to work if he don't want to anymore. And he like, what am I going to do? Sit at home and watch TV all day? I'd rather be working, making moves. They've been working so hard their whole lives that that's all they know how to do at this point. but I want to be the one that leaves a legacy. I want to make sure that for the next couple of years of my life, I want to take them and explore the world with me. While they're getting a little bit older, guess what, guys? It takes money. I tell this to people all the time. I'm like, yo, it takes money to invest in high level healthcare. I want to give my parents the best healthcare so they could live another 20 years. I want to feed them only the best foods, the best nutrition, have the best doctors, have the best access to medical care, everything. But you know what that takes? Money. It takes money. Money talks here. People say money isn't everything, but nowadays, money gives you access to things that most people won't have access to. So you got to be willing to work at the things that are going to help you earn that kind of income so that you could be able to one day provide for your kids. It ranks up there with air. It really does. So, guys, this is what it's going to take. And that goes back to the story of Noah, which means we're just getting started. Noah built the ark for 120 years. Some of us are less than 5, 10 years in. Now, am I saying that it's going to take us 120 years? No. But I'm saying have patience and get ready to work on you. This is only 1 year out of the who knows how many years of work that we're going to have to do before God decides to move that stone and God decides to give us what we deserve. Just keep working head down until God decides to give you your blessing, fam. So with that being said, that ends today's call. I've been here for an hour. I don't even know how I speak for an hour sometimes. I'm like, I sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna just run for 30 minutes. Next thing you know, I'm 30 minutes, 35, 45, an hour in, and I'm still talking. But if you guys were able to get value from this training, put a 5 in the chat box. Here are the 5 points that I covered today on the story of Noah when it comes to this, right? Number 1 was vision and preparation. Number 2 was leadership and uncertainty. Number 3 was adaptation and innovation. Number 4 was long-term focus and patience. And number 5 was building a legacy. We're all building a legacy, fam. Let's keep growing. Let's keep elevating. Let's all commit to the work on ourselves. It's all perspective. It took Noah 120 years, but he lived 950 years. There you go. There you go. So if we do the math, that was like a 6/7 of his life, which means if we do the math with us, that's like 5, 10 years of our lives. If we do the math and we were to kind of like put it next to each other, that means it's going to take us at least a solid 5 or 10 years of work to really change our lives for good, like change our lives for good. And I believe it. Look, I'm 5 years in and I've changed my life. And I'm going to say for good because I can never go back to who I was. It's just a matter of time before everything that I've ever put on my vision board becomes a reality. I'm only a couple of days away in reality. I don't know how many days, but I'm just gonna say a couple of days a day, couple of days. It could be 50 days, it could be 130 days, it could be 500 days, however long it is. But I know it's days away. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys were able to gain the perspective from this, and this was able to give you actually some fire inside of you to go out there and work on yourself. All right, fam. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back Thursday for another episode of Mornings with Nano, MMX. Sorry, not MMX edition. YouTube and Instagram edition. I go live every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel at 10:30 a.m. If I ever start a little later, it's because I'm somewhere, whatever it is, but I always do a call every Tuesday and Thursday. If you guys want to stay up to date on everything, go on my Instagram bio and join the chat in my Instagram bio, because that's usually where I drop the call if you want to do that. And also subscribe to this channel and turn the post notifications on so that every time I go live, you're aware of when I go live, guys. And share this with other people. Let people hear the story and everything that we have going on here, right, guys? So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. One thing I do at the end of every call is I pray over us. If you guys will allow me, I'll pray over you. If you got to hop off for whatever reason, I also respect it as well. But I do pray over my people before we go, all right, fam? So let's do a quick prayer and then we'll wrap it up right there. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. The month of March has already been so promising, and it has been filled with so much wisdom and so much power. We're so grateful for everything. Today we learned about the story of Noah and the idea of building the ark for preparation for the floods. And we know that we're not in the same times, but we understand now that we're building ourselves up, that we're going to go out there and we're going to do what's required so that we can prepare for what the future holds, so we can become better versions of ourselves, so that we can continue to build the kingdom, so that we can be the example that we want to see in the rest of the world. So continue to give us the strength to show up each and every single day. Cleanse us of any negativity, any doubt, any fear, any insecurity that may be holding us back, Father. We are committed to the vision. We are committed to your mission, Father, and we're going to do whatever it takes each and every single day to go out there and build ourselves. We love you and we appreciate you for everything that you're doing for us, and we're going to give you all the glory and all the praise along the way, Father. Let's go out there and have a great day. Let's be productive. We love you and we appreciate you. In God's name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a beautiful day. Stay productive. Remember the story of Noah. It takes time, guys. Time, Time, things I must experience. Love you. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys Thursday. God bless.